welcome back, guys. 1.09 beta's just been released, and there are a lot of changes, so I'm not going to go into depth with everything right off the bat, but I'll just cover the major changes that I've noticed. I've only actually booted the game up 5-10 minutes ago, so I haven't had a chance to actually look at everything yet, but the major changes are submarines, anti-submarine warfare obviously, recon, minefields and minesweeping, and then fuel and ammunition. So they're the major changes that I can see from the help page. Now I'll quickly go into what each one does. It looks like submarines are just going to damage ships, enemy ships. I don't know if they're going to be able to sink enemy ships, something we're going to have to test out. Anti-submarine warfare, it looks like it's just simply the ASW tree is simply spotting the detection. We'll have to go into more depth on that. It says they can be destroyed by depth charges, mainly by depth charges, so I don't know what the other options of destroying submarines are going to be. If you don't use depth charges, that'll be interesting finding out. Recon looks like it's just simply mission generation and nothing else, so the more smaller ships you have, the better mission generation you get, so that'll be interesting to check out. Minefields, these damage ships that sail in them. It can also damage your own ships, friendly ships, at a lower chance, so that'll be a bit strange. It'll be interesting to see. Basically, they generate mines around a port to prevent port strike missions. But if you don't have any ships in a port, will the port strike mission even generate? So you might be better off just not putting ships in ports that you don't want to be port striked. So to prevent the friendly fire, if you just have submarines in a port and have all your ships in a different port, I don't know, something we're going to have to have a look. So it looks like you can put minefields at sea, but only submarines can do it, which is a bit weird, because destroyers and light cruisers can put them around ports, but only submarines can put them at sea. A bit weird. Minesweeping is 1, reducing the size of the minefields, and 2, reducing the chance of getting hit by mines when sailing through them. Now these one that I don't particularly agree with how they're doing it. It's very strange. They're doing fuel and ammunition. Basically, I'll just go through what they're doing, and then I'll say why I don't agree with the decision. So fuel, the longer you're at sea, I don't know if you don't move, if you just stay still at sea, if you use fuel, I'm not sure. But the longer you move at sea, the more fuel you use. When you get below 10% fuel, 1, you move slower on the strategic map, and 2, your maximum speed is reduced, and it also increases the maintenance. Ammunition, it looks like if you use all your ammunition in a battle and then you have a battle the following turn, you're going to start the battle with hardly any ammunition. Now I don't know how fast this replenishes, and it costs to replenish as well. So the thing that I don't agree with is this nearest port business. You get replenished, fuel and ammunition both get replenished from nearest port, which, if you think about it, if you're Austro-Hungary, you've got 3 ports that are kind of tucked away in a corner. Now if you take Malta from the British, now Malta is going to be your nearest port as soon as you leave your ports, your main landlocked, I can't think of the word, homeland ports. As soon as you leave that area, Malta is going to be the nearest port. And the smaller the port, the worse efficiency for fuel and ammunition replenishment. So I don't understand the decision to make it nearest port, because that's just going to screw over any decision to take smaller ports in peace battles, in peace agreements. So we'll have to do some testing to see how that works, but I think they might need to change this in the future. Okay, so the other changes, I haven't gone through everything quite yet. I got to this point and I started recording. I should have gone through a little bit more. I haven't even designed a ship yet. So the other major changes I've noticed are engine vibrations. So it looks like the more you vibrate, the worse your accuracy is. And you've got ship floors, which I have no idea what it does because you can't highlight it anywhere. I don't believe that there's any section down here that says ship floors. I can't see anything that says ship floors, so I can only speculate what this means, but I'd assume, I don't know, higher maintenance costs. That's the only thing I can think of that it would affect. You're not going to get damage by using a floored ship, I don't think. I think that'd be a bit weird. The other thing is obviously fuel efficiency and fuel stowage. So I'm not 100% sure what the best decision's going to be out of these, but it's a little bit weird. It is a little bit strange. How you can't highlight things like ship floors and vibrations to read what they do. So I don't believe you've got mine hit damage, so that's different on the Citadel. And on the hull bottoms. Ship floors again on the armour quality. The better your armour quality, the worse your ship floors. That seems to be a common theme. The better your technology, the worse your ship floors. But we don't know what ship floors do to know what that does. I mean, they might have stated it somewhere on the forums. I haven't actually read anything, to be honest, so I should probably have read stuff before doing a video. But that looks like the major changes. Let's stick some guns on. Yeah, it all looks the same. Shell splashes interference from own guns, that's new. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. That all looks the same. They all look the same. So we've got ship floors again. Interesting how they've changed the wording on here. So it's looking like stereoscopic has had a bit of a buff in terms of shell splashes. I don't know how impactful that's going to be. We'll have to do some testing on that. Defense power versus submarines. ASW effectiveness. Now this is one, the recon. So that might make taking radar more worthwhile, but I think that's only mission generation. Mines, Minesweeper and depth charges, so we'll have to check them out in campaign mode. Everything else looks the same. Now, if we have a look down here, we've built the ship out. Obviously it's not properly built out, but we've built the ship out. It's a battleship, and I've got an ASW rating. I'm not sure where that's coming from, because on here it says ships without ASW are virtually defenseless against a submarine attack. Well, what is giving me this ASW rating? Because I haven't equipped any equipment, so it must simply be the towers. So if we take the towers off, we've still got a 72 rating on a battleship, which seems very odd to me, to have an ASW rating without any actual anti-submarine equipment. So let's have a quick look, see what destroyers are. 169 straight off the bat, and 121. So 72. Yeah, not 100% sure how that's going to tie in. But one thing I have noticed is they haven't fixed this hull form speed exploit. If you have 117, oops, oh dear. If you have 117 hull form or higher, you can basically reduce the beam and draft, and then change your speed without any increase to cost or weight. So it's a shame they haven't fixed that. So the other two bugs that we're going to have to check out, see if they're fixed, are the turret traversal one, obviously, and the ghost ship bug, where if you scrap ships in a port, they still get over port capacity as if the ships are still there. So we'll have to test them out. That'll be a huge one if they haven't fixed that with these fuel and ammunition. You'll basically have to always send ships to a port that you're never going to want to use to scrap. Otherwise you're going to get screwed over. So we'll check that out. Right, so I've just auto-designed a battleship and it doesn't look great. The auto-design's still terrible. We've got these tiny little guns here interfering with a main gun. You've got a super battleship 2 using 11-inch main guns. And then we've got these two 8-inch guns at the front for no reason whatsoever, which are obscuring the bigger caliber gun behind. So the auto design is still absolutely garbage, unfortunately. Well, they've given you the ability to have 5 different save slots now, so that's nice. Right, so loading times are now epic. But that's kind of understandable. But it looks pretty cool. I like seeing the whole world map. But it would be nice if you could scroll from left to right, carry on going left and get to the other side of the map rather than having to actually scroll from left to right. So that could do with an improvement, really. The one thing I've noticed though is moving the screen with the mouse is awful. You've pretty much got to use AWSD or the directional keys. So annoying how you can't zoom in and out if you're hovering over a port as well. That is a bit annoying. But small things. So one thing I've noticed, which is a bit weird, is changing your armor quality affects your range. Now I'm not 100% sure why, but I mean it's put the weight up, but it's given us a much bigger range. So that's 75% and 54. So let's reduce the armour down to 75%. $54. So the more weight you've got, the more range you've got, which that seems odd. So it wasn't the armour itself that was changing the range, but the actual weight of the ship. So apparently you can go over 100% on the engine efficiency now. I don't know what effect that has. Where's engine efficiency? God, you can tell I haven't played for a while. Engine efficiency. So that's interesting how you can actually go above 100% now. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. Well, going over your engine efficiency by 100% or over 100% is absolutely insane. If you have a look at the bonuses here, we've got plus 78 operational range, plus 26 operational range. So, and look at this, a red marker on 97%. It's gone off when I move that, that's good. So yeah, going over your engine efficiency is actually really powerful in terms of putting your range up. So like we're on 15k there, we're on 22k now, which could be massive. Well, that's a bit weird. Increasing my speed actually reduces my range, which I was not expecting. So we're at 15.3. We're now down to 13.5. So I'm not sure what it is, because I'm pretty sure I've increased the speed on other ships and it's increased the range. So I'm not 100% sure what the factor is that changes speed to range ratio. It's probably something to do with your engines, possibly your fuel. Well, everything looks pretty much exactly as it did before in terms of these tabs. Obviously we've got more nations, but everything else looks exactly as it did before. Be interesting to see if they've fixed the rate of some of these researches, boilers in particular, not getting induced boilers until a ridiculous date. Priorities are still exactly the same. So yeah, everything's exactly the same. We've obviously got this submarine tab, so we'll check out how that works. Right, well, it looks like if you go lower than the amount of crew that you need to crew a ship, and then go back above again, you go into maximum repairs, 0 hull, which is ridiculous in my opinion, but that's how they want to do it. Right, well, I've been at war for quite a while, and supposedly light cruisers that are in ports will start generating minefields. So mines are deployed each turn and increase the minefield radius around ports. We can't see any minefields. There's no radius. So one, I have no idea if it's actually working or not. As you can see, these have all got mines and they're all in port. And two, A and 2, I think I just said that. We have no idea how big the radius is. So that's not great. Okay, so we've moved on to 1940 with Japan. I just wanted to experiment a little bit more with this mine laying business. And it seems that mine layers have this orange radius around them, which I assume is the radius of the mines that are going to be laid. So it's very odd that the ports don't have the same thing, because obviously minefields at sea and minefields around ports should have the same radius representation. So I think that's what the yellow is anyway, because the ones that haven't got mine laying capacity just have the green rather than the yellow. And I'd imagine the green is obviously if enemy ships sail into the green, then they get attacked. That's what I think's going on anyway. So yeah, what I've done is I've designed a destroyer with mine laying equipment, mine sweeping equipment, and depth charges. So I want to test out what these actually do, how they work and everything. Now obviously, going from the previous campaign with the Austro-Hungary Empire, we tried the mine laying at the ports, but I was thinking that maybe the radius was so small that the flag might have been covering it. So I'm going to try it again with later technology. Okay, so I've literally just clicked start a war with France, and straight away I'm getting damaged by enemy mines. Now, France is miles away. So it's saying that the French ship is getting damaged by my mines, not the other way around. So my apologies. Right, okay. So now the Italians have just had a shitload of damage by enemy mines. Look at all that. Right, so they're not being damaged by my mines. Let's have a look. France and Italy. France is at war with Italy. So it looks like it's the Italians and the French damaging each other with mines. So they've probably built mines around these ports, and these have probably... Right, mine sweeping radius, mine sweeping capacity. So at least it shows you a mine sweeping radius. That's nice. So the grey one is obviously mine sweeping. The mine laying one is orange. It just seems odd to not have a radius. Oh, here you go. So you have got a radius. Mine were just obviously so small that you couldn't see it. Interesting. Right, that's nice. That's nice to see. So I've just noticed that the crew losses and the damage taken from mines don't correlate very well. 0.2 damage, 3.1 crew losses, 11.6 damage and only 1.1 crew losses. So it seems very haphazard on how many crew losses they take compared to how much damage they take. The other thing as well, oh look, mines. Awesome. The other thing as well is submarines all have the same radius that they can move regardless of what submarine technology is. I've got loads of different submarines here, all going from the first class that you can build all the way up to the latest class, and they can all travel the exact same distance, which seems a bit wrong to me. You would assume that later technology submarines would be able to travel a lot further than the very first technology submarines. Right, here it says mine laying radius 222 kilometers, but mine laying capacity 0. Which says to me that that's the biggest it can grow because the mine laying capacity is 0. But what was strange is on the Austro-Hungarian attempt that I did, the mine laying capacity wasn't reducing and there was no minefield radius. So I have no idea what the cause of that was. The only difference being that these are submarines and they were like cruisers. So it was very strange that all my submarines took mine damage because there are no minefields around. We've got this submarine here that's got a minefield radius. So maybe that was near one of these and I just didn't notice. But it did seem a bit odd that I took so much damage. If it was from this, then 2 mine-laying submarines did a heck of a lot of damage. Okay, so I've been trying my best to get submarines to do something. I've had this French fleet surrounded and this Spanish fleet surrounded for quite a few turns now, and nothing, absolutely nothing. So I'm destroying a few French transports in the Southeast Asia Sea, and that is it, just transports. It's weird how it doesn't show up as power projection. But yeah, as far as I can tell, submarines can only destroy transport ships and nothing else. And if you have a look at the cost, 1 million a month upkeep, 70 million, these are the ones I've got built. So 70 million to build and 1 million upkeep just to destroy a few transports. What's the point when you can build a battleship that's only a little bit more expensive, which can attack both transports and combat ships? So yeah, it seems ridiculous to me that submarines can only attack transport ships. Right, we're going to try and find out if there's any indicator to these shell splashes causing inaccuracy when firing at the same ship. So let's put everybody just following the battleship. So We're all... Why has it done this again? Oh my god, what is going on? Some seriously messed up business going on. It's 2 times I've tried this. Something is messing the speed up. And last time I tried it, one of the ships remained at the slow speed. This one. Why? Why can't I increase that? Okay, so there's serious bugs in the game still, unfortunately. But there's nothing we can do about that. So let's chase down this enemy ship. Okay, so we've got at least 3 different types of ships shooting at him. So let's have a look. There is nothing there to indicate shell splash affecting the... maybe it's affecting the range found. Let's have a look, see what this... No, he's still got 5,000 range found. I mean, on the last test I did, he had 6,000, so maybe that is the thing that's affecting it, the range found. Let's send them all at a little bit of an angle. So yeah, 5,200, and it doesn't seem to be increasing. Let's see when the rear turrets fire. Okay, so the rear turrets have fired now, and it's still at 5,200. So let's tell all these to stop firing. And then let's see if that increases over 5,200. No, it's still 5,200. So where is this splash penalty that I'm meant to be getting for loads of different guns? You would assume that it would show up in the shoot info section. Everything else shows up in there, so why wouldn't they put the splash info in there? Very, very strange. Maybe this is something that they just haven't implemented fully yet. So there's a very weird clipping animation going on with the turrets. They just disappear almost, and then reappear again, which is very odd. So let's get a bit closer. I want to see if the turret traversal bug's still in effect. So the turret's traversing. And the turret stopped traversing. So they haven't fixed the turret traversal bug. So I've been doing some testing, and it does seem like the turret traversal bug is pretty much fixed. So I think I was a little bit too hasty, assuming that it wasn't fixed. See, as we can see, we're at full rudder turn, and it is actually turning. So I think they have fixed the turret traversal bug, so that's good. I think only in extreme circumstances, like it just so happened the one that I tested, that it doesn't work, but in 99% of the time it will actually work now, so thank goodness for that. I don't know if the waves look different, but it certainly looks nice. I don't remember if the waves have looked like this in the past. Might be because I'm playing on a higher graphics setting, I don't know. But yeah, at least the turret traversal bug's working now. Or, not the bug. The bug is fixed. The traversal's working. So yeah, apologies for the misinformation earlier on. Okay, so in the previous branch there was a ghost ship bug where ships that were scrapped in a port still counted towards the port capacity. So you could basically fill up a port capacity with ghost ships that had been scrapped. So we're just going to test to see if they fix that bug or not. So I've scrapped a load of ships in Cataro, and he's on defend at the moment. I'll just set him to in being. So he's 198 on in being in Cataro. So we're going to move him to Spalado and then see if he changes from 198. So we'll need to set him back at in being again, because when you move ships they automatically get changed to sea control. So 198 in Cataro. Why have I got two ships here? $146. So they haven't fixed the ghost ship bug. That's bad. That's really bad. With the way that this new fuel and ammo works, where it's all about if the port capacity's been exceeded, the ghost ship bug is going to make this 10 times worse. Free capacity, so you can't scrap ships in a port that you want to get supplied from, because the ghost ships are going to count towards the port capacity, so that's terrible. Okay, so let's have a quick look to see if they've fixed. I say fixed, the devs actually haven't claimed that it's a bug, they say it's a feature, but let's see if they've fixed the combining divisions of different class ships to see if it changes the order that you put them in. So we're going to have the destroyers in the lead, battleships second, then light cruisers, then battle cruisers, then armoured cruisers. Let's have a look, see if it auto changes. It hasn't started to auto change them. Interesting. Let's put the speed up. Interesting. So one of the few things that they didn't claim was a bug and that it was actually a feature, they fixed, but the three things that are bugs, they haven't fixed. Okay, so the next thing to check would be the follow line bug. That one might be a bit more awkward to test. Okay, so with the follow line bug, when you set different ships to follow each other, it switched them all around, but with the previous bug being fixed, it shouldn't do that anymore. And then the other portion of the follow line bug is when a ship gets damaged, it was sometimes retreating to the back of its group and other times retreating to the back of the follow line. And the reason that was a problem is because sometimes it would decide to retreat to the back here first, then change its mind and retreat further back, but the ships that were following were set to follow the one that was retreating, which would then create a follow circle, a follow loop, and it would crash the game. So the good thing is, it's not reorganizing all of the ships without our say-so, so that's good. So now we just need to see what happens when a ship retreats. So it's looking like it's just retreating to the back of its own division, which is good in the sense that it's not going to create a follow line loop crash. But let's see, once it reaches there, if it then joins onto the back of the entire follow line. Well, it's reached the end, and these are still following it, so it looks like it's technically fixed. It means that you have to manually detach it, but at least it's not going to cause any crashes anymore. Well, they haven't fixed the bug where if you change your beam and draft and then enter your number, that it actually puts, oops, sorry, I had to put 3000, that it actually updates it to 3000. It's still reducing the number by the reduced weight of these two. So you've got to mess about finally adjusting things still with the mouse and dragging rather than entering the number, which is a shame. Well, sadly, they haven't fixed the max gun range bug. On the gun it says 41.9 and then up here 34.7. So you're 7.2 kilometers missing on the gun range. So yeah, that's awful. So this is where he should be firing, or at least aiming his guns. And he's doing nothing because the max range is nowhere near what the max range is meant to be. So we'll have a look. Okay, we've started turning now. And he is 33, so yeah. That is the actual max range, not what it says on the gun. And they haven't improved the torpedo boat's decision making. I've just had this torpedo boat and that torpedo boat sail right up to me, and then just before they get into torpedo range, turn away. Which makes no sense whatsoever. All it had to do was travel another 100 meters and it could have fired its torpedo at me. So that's not good. So I've been having a look at the help pages again, and it seems that submarines should be able to attack enemy ships and not just transport ships, and I just don't think it's working properly. It says here, similarly to task forces, submarines that are near an enemy fleet will generate missions which can be avoided or auto-resolved. So it's obviously just not generating the missions, even though I've got all of these subs surrounding two enemy task fleets. It's just not generating the missions, sadly. And also the range, they're all, no matter what the technology is, the range, the radius is exactly the same. So this radius doesn't change no matter what technology your submarine is. The very first submarine that you build has got exactly the same radius as the latest technology submarines has, where on the submarine range help tab it says Coastal submarine with small range will only be able to travel and create missions at short distances around its port or move to another nearby port. A larger cruiser submarine will have a much less restricted operational radius. So that says, basically, to me, it should have a much bigger radius with a later technology submarine, which it doesn't have at the moment. So I think that's something that needs to be fixed. And then in the ASW page, ships without ASW are virtually defenseless against a submarine attack. So again, that implies that you should be able to damage ships, combat ships with submarines, and it's just simply not working at the moment. So yeah, what are my final thoughts on this patch? Sadly, a lot of the bugs haven't been fixed. So the ghost ship bug when you scrap ships in a port, that isn't fixed. The power projection updates aren't fixed, so you need to exit the game and re-enter to get updated power projection. That's annoying. The range of your guns in combat isn't fixed, so that's not great. But they have fixed mostly the turret traversal bug, which was probably the worst bug in the game, so at least that's fixed. Submarines don't work as intended, so that, unfortunately, with this with this patch focusing on submarines and mines, it's not great that the submarines don't actually work at the moment. Mines are ridiculously OP, so I think they need toning down. And the floors, the ship floors, they're just annoying, and could do with having some way to refit your ship to fix the floors, I reckon. Because at the moment you just get floors. I haven't actually got any at the moment. Oh, I built these. I designed these ships to not have floors. That's why. But you just get floors pages, massive lists of floors that just cover the screen and make it look horrible, and you can't do anything about them. So yeah, a bit annoying. So I don't think it's ready to actually be played properly yet. So if you're umming and ahhing whether to download the beta patch, I'd say don't bother at the moment. Wait for them to actually fix the bugs and make the submarines work and make the map wrap around. Other than that, I mean, it's got potential, but it's just not quite there, and it's a shame that they haven't fixed some of the critical bugs that they do know about, because they've acknowledged them in the Steam forums. So for whatever reason, just haven't got round to fixing them. So I'd say hold off on it for now. Jump in if you just want to mess about, but just be aware that if you do download the latest beta, you will lose all of your old saves and old ship designs in the custom tab. So yeah, only jump in if you're willing to lose all your previous save data. Right, well, this video's gone on long enough. I'm amazed if you've made it all the way to the end. Thanks for watching, take care, and I shall see you in an actual campaign where I test out some of these features. So, see you soon, guys.